So, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this impromptu conversation on Clubhouse. I am Very Little, the blogger for smartgirlmedia.com, and we have an awesome guest for you today. But before I get into our guest and we talk about what our goals are for this guest, I want to have a few of my other guests introduce themselves. So, Dr. Mina Blasey, tell us who you are and also tell us how long you have been using Clubhouse.
Hey, everybody. I am Dr. Mina Blasey. I am an educator and a director in Southern California with a background in science education. And I have been using Clubhouse since December 23rd exactly, and really proficiently since January, the end of January this year. I'm excited about our conversation today, and I'm going to kind of turn this back over to Carrie Little.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Blasey. Marlena Gross Taylor. So tell us about who you are and how long you've been using Clubhouse.
Hello. Thank you so much, Carrie, for having me on your show. So I am the founder of EduGladiators. I'm a longtime educator that just happens to still be 28 forever. So just want to put that plug in there. And with my 28-year-old self, I actually did not want to be on Clubhouse. My cousin, who really is closer to 28, insisted because I do all things social media for educators, edupreneurs in that field as a longtime educator and marketing expert now. So I have been on Clubhouse since December, and it has brought me to Carrie, to you, to Mina, and also to our wonderful guest, Cassandra, as well. So thank you for having me on your show.
You know, what's crazy is I think most of us got on Clubhouse in December, and I was also one of those people that was pushing back. I was like, not one more thing. Look, it was a fight back in the 90s to get me on MySpace, and now we got this Clubhouse thing. So, yeah, right. So I'm with you, Marlena. And I think I'm going to go with my 25-year-old self. All right, so here we go. So our special guest today is she is a part of the finalist for Creator First called Be Well Sis, and the pilot will launch on Thursday, May 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and for me that's 7 p.m. and for Dr. Mina Blasey that's 5 p.m. Marlena, what time is it for you?
I'm on Mountain Time, so I'm just an hour difference from you.
Okay, so that'll be 6 p.m. So we're going to be all over the country supporting our guests. So our weekly, so this will be a weekly interactive show where women with diverse expertise and experiences come together to have an incredibly open and honest conversation that aims to make wellness more inclusive and give the audience real-time actionable insights to improve their well-being. Discussions will range from the Black maternal health. Yeah, I'm telling you, I probably needed this like 30 years ago. Crisis to overcoming, imposter syndrome, right? And sometimes we feel like we can't do things. Absolutely. And incorporating mindfulness in daily living and everything in between. So, why is she here? To have meaningful conversations and to connect. And she is in the North Carolina area. So please welcome our special guest, Cassandre Dunbar from North Carolina. And Cassandra, tell us a little bit more about yourself and tell us how long you've been on Clubhouse. And then we are going to have Marlena. I almost called you doctor. Marlena talk about what Creator First is on Clubhouse.
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. This is nice. So I have been on Clubhouse since December, like end of December, I want to say, myself on and off intermittently, because what I find is that I get consumed. So I'll spend the entire day, and I'm not a good multitasker. So if I'm listening, I'm listening. I can't do anything else. But about me, so I am a mom who is right now virtually helping my child virtually learn. And that's been a lot. He's 6, he's in the 1st grade. He has a big personality. And then I have a 2-year-old as well. So I spend most of my time with my kids. I'm also a teacher. I am a professor at a university down here in Charlotte. My semester is wrapping up, thank God, because it's been a lot with the kids in the background. Yeah, and I'm just incredibly passionate about the health and wellness of Black women. When I was looking into how to merge health and wellness, I realized there's a big gap between what I learned in medical school and what it really means to be well. And I find that as I look for different communities, we're often left out. So I am hoping to create a space where we feel seen, where we feel heard, and all of those good things.
Oh, wow. So medical field, right? So definitely a lot of schooling, and you're a professor at the collegiate level, and you're a mom. Wow. I can say this, and we all come from, we have kids at different ages. My youngest is 18, so I am pretty much an empty nester. And then maybe Dr. Cassandra, you can talk to me about why my husband thinks I should have another kid at 50. That's a conversation for another day. So Marlena, right? You should have seen that Facebook Live. So, Marlena, tell us about um, Creator First, this accelerator program that was launched by Clubhouse to have these shows, and then we'll talk about what Dr. Cassandra did to get accepted, at least into the finalist program.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So if you are not on Clubhouse, you need to join the party, and we can definitely help you get into the party and support Cassandra. But basically, Clubhouse is an audio only app. And think of it like a podcast, like a different twist on a podcast, but it can be interactive because it's live. And so when the Clubhouse first started, there were a couple of folks, creators, that started just different rooms that they like to call shows. Like the Lullaby Club is the largest show, or the most popular show, where it kind of creates this whole ambiance of like sleepy time music, and people are singing live or playing live, and it's really ultra cool. But they needed more of that as the app started growing in popularity. So they created this Creators First accelerator program, where anyone on the app, at that time, only Apple or iOS users could be on the app, but Android, you can join now, Android users. But anyone could submit an idea through an application process of their next show, if you will. And so Cassandra submitted her application in March, and she was selected as one of the finalists. And I have to share this, the educator in me, and probably the snarky middle school teacher in me, is that to our knowledge, Cassandra is the only educator to be selected as, out of thousands of applications, as one of the top 20 finalists. And so I have been shouting her out, and I want her to win. She's an educator, she's a mom, I want her to win. So hopefully that gives
She's
you
a
a good
minority.
overview.
We want her to win.
And she's a minority. Thank you. And I want her to win, right? So I am so excited, and I want her to win. I'm pretty clear about that, huh? So welcome, 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 everyone. And I hope that you would consider joining Clubhouse so you can throw your support on her show. So I'll pass it back to you, Carrie.
And let me say this, all of us that day, May 20th, and I do believe, and Mina, Dr. Blasey, talk to us. It's hard to call you that. Mina, no disrespect, we're twins. Can you, so tell us how we can make sure we don't miss her show? In addition to, we need all of you to go to Clubhouse today and follow at Cassandra Dunbar, and it's DRE. So don't get that mixed up. Follow her today, and then click on the bell and say always. So when she goes live, you don't miss the Thursday show. So tell us, Mina, how can we do this today on Clubhouse in addition to following her on Clubhouse?
Okay, so to follow her show, go directly to Clubhouse. And once you go to Clubhouse, type in Cassandra Dunbar's name. Make sure that you spell Cassandra with two S's and the last letter is an E, Dunbar, and then go to the bottom of her profile and find, it says Be Well Sis, and click on that little bell. That bell will remind you that she is coming up on Thursday. That is the most important thing. Yes, I'm right there now. So with that, and I know my ring light is there, but it's at the very bottom. You go to the bottom and you just click on it. Make sure that you do that. The other thing that you want to do is follow her on Clubhouse and turn on the bell at the top right. Make sure you turn on that bell so anytime she goes live, you will be notified and know it immediately. That is very important. So that's all I have to say about that. We want you to be there. We want to support our educator, especially those in STEM education, because she's all things physiology and other sciences. So please make sure that you follow her on Clubhouse, because we're excited about the conversation that we're going to have. It's going to be deep and a conversation that not just our Black community needs to know about, but our BIPOC and our white community needs to know about this too. It's imperative that you come to this conversation, and we look forward to it. Thank you so much for allowing me to explain that.
I'm so proud that you actually took the steps to applying. I was like, oh my gosh, what would I actually do if they pick me? So proud of you for taking the steps, Dr. Cassandra. So tell us a little bit about that day, even if you don't have it totally planned out, because all I can think about is when we do a podcast, no one can see us, right?
Right.
Same thing with Clubhouse. So you still have time to kind of plan this out. And so give us some context. Like, what are you thinking about that day? I know you're brainstorming with people, and I know we're going to be sitting in the background taking notes so we can help you share those notes later. Give us some context for that day.
So far, I have two therapists that I will be speaking to. I have a personal connection with them because when I was going through postpartum depression myself, I was referred to them. And they are just two awesome women who have a nonprofit organization out of Charlotte that provides therapy services to women who can't afford it otherwise. So I really want to highlight them. They're knowledgeable, they're fun, and it's going to be a good conversation to start with them. And then we're going to give the audience opportunity to go ahead and share their experience too, because unfortunately, a lot of us have close calls and have experienced firsthand, either with ourselves or with people that we know, who have had a hard time during pregnancy and delivery and then the period after. And then I'm going to also have my co-mods here who are going to help me because they are the Clubhouse experts who are going to help just address the room and keep the room orderly and keep things moving smoothly. And one thing that I'm going to do too is also have the male perspective, because a lot of time we think about maternal mental health and we think about just what the mom is going through. And while that's really important, we also need to consider what the spouse or the partner may be going through as well, because it's a big change for him as well. So I'm excited. I'm still, like you said, brainstorming. It's a lot of work, and I just want to make this right. So yes, and I'm so blessed to have these ladies help guide the process in ways.
Yeah, I'm a last minute. Let's do it. Like, the support in this is, I mean, like just the idea that you're actually going to be having these conversations, and we're just claiming it that you actually get to have your own show, to me is huge. So, Marlena, Dr. Marlena, one day, maybe we'll jump in with them. So, do you have any questions for Dr. Cassandra, or anything you want to share so we can make sure that this event is one that everyone shows up to? And for those of you that are watching, I don't care if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on LinkedIn, or if you're watching on YouTube, we need you to reshare this so we make sure we have a really nice attendance. And come with your questions. Come prepared to ask questions. So, Marlena.
Absolutely. So on my Instagram, I'm going to put the link into the link on my Instagram, where if you're not a member of Clubhouse, you can join and become a member while you register for her class. So I have that added, so you can follow me at M Gross Taylor as well. And I know that Cassandra will have hers updated if she doesn't already, to include that. So you can join Clubhouse, you can fast track, you don't have to worry about the invite. And then, really the question that I'm looking forward to her answering and the panel on Thursday is, how does the mental health of our kids, like from an educator's perspective, our kids that we teach, our Black kids that we teach, how does Black maternal health impact our kids' mental health? And then how can we use these kinds of conversations to impact us as educators, no matter what color we are, what race that we are, to better support our Black families, particularly our Black mothers, whom traditionally in Black families, if mama ain't happy, nobody's happy. So moms are it in Black families. Like they are the caregiver, the leader. And so how can we use these types of conversations to inform us from a school perspective, teacher perspective, to support our Black families? So I'm really excited.
Yeah.
That's a really great question. So Dr. Cassandra, anything else you want to share before we end? What are your takeaways, and first of all, why do you think people should join Clubhouse, and what are your takeaways, not just from this event, but from future events that you'll have on mental health?
I think people should join Clubhouse because there's so much community there. There's so much power in finding your tribe and finding people who are like-minded and who have similar goals to you. You know, I love that African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. So I think Clubhouse is a beautiful platform for making those connections and meeting people who are trying to do the same thing that you're trying to do. And just there's so much information and so much knowledge. I'm a nerd. I like to know more and learn more. And sometimes it's great to hop into different rooms to get those resources, you know, to find out what book to read, to find out what podcast to listen to. So it's just a great place to just figure some things out. Whatever your interests are, I promise there is a room for you. And then in terms of joining my room, if you are a mother, if you know a mother, if you have a mother, if you one day want to be a mother, I think the conversation is going to be relevant for you. It's not necessarily just for Black women who are thinking of becoming mothers. It's for all of us because it impacts our entire community. The way Marlena just mentioned, you know, how it can impact the children and the students. So the teachers are not impacted. So we're all one circle, right? Everything is circular and holistic. So yeah, so just join, you'll find something for you. And I promise you, leaving our conversation this Thursday at 8 p.m., you'll be impacted somehow.
So I have a couple of people on Facebook. They're asking questions. So this is from Ebony, and she was in your room last night. How did Dr. Dunbar decide that this was something that needed more visibility? So how did you decide this?
You know, there was like an NPR radio show that came out, it was before I had my children. So maybe 7 years ago. And it was about this woman who worked at either the CDC or NIH. She was a Black woman, very highly educated. She was studying the disparities in Black maternal health at the time. She then became pregnant and she became the subject of her own study because she passed during childbirth. And what the story ended up being was that, I'm so sorry, my children.
This is real life. This is real life of a mom, and you don't even have to apologize.
Always screaming. But the moral of the story is that what they found is that it doesn't matter our education because she was highly educated. It doesn't matter how much we make because she was high up in the socioeconomic status. It doesn't matter anything. This issue spans all of those things. And her story just like stayed with me. And then fast forward to 2 years ago when I had my second child, I had a close call. And I'm like, this is happening too frequently. And in speaking to women who are about my age or not even my age, who are older, younger, we all know somebody who this has happened to. And a lot of us have had a lot of now distrust the medical system. And I'm thinking, okay, we can't rely on others to fix this. What can we do to fix this? So that's why something I'm really passionate about and something that I think we all need to talk about, and it needs to be a hands-on approach to affect change.
And you're more likely to affect change when it resonates with you and you're passionate about it. So here's another statement. We would love to see something for teens that are soon to leave high school and go into the world, especially minorities or especially those that don't go to the HBCU and they enter colleges where people don't look like them.
Yeah, I love this. Teens are also very near and dear to me. I come from a first generation home. So my parents are from the Caribbean, and didn't go to college or anything. And when I was a teen, I just was trying to figure it out by myself. And I don't want anybody to have to figure this big wide world out by themselves. So I definitely would like to do something where I can help guide you. If you don't want to go into STEM, I want to help to be able to place you with whatever your passion is. Let me connect you to that person. Because I feel like we're at such a disadvantage because a lot of us just don't know. So we do our best and then we make so many mistakes that could be avoided. So I love that.
All right. So, and we're going to end, but before we end, because I'm going to end with Dr. Cassandra. So, Dr. Mina Blasey, also the same, Mina Joe Blasey everywhere. Give us your one takeaway, then I'll go to Marlena, I'll talk, and then we will end with Dr. Cassandra.
So my takeaway is that I had the same incident happen to me, and I will be sharing my story this Thursday. And it's imperative that we have the conversation. And one of the things that I liked about Clubhouse is that we literally are connected around the world. I would not have met Dr. Cassandre Dunbar if it hadn't been for Clubhouse. I would not have met Marlena if it hadn't been for Clubhouse. I've met so many people and had collaboration. And this is the platform to inform not just our adult BIPOC community, but our teens, like you said, and the parents that come to the schools. Like the intersect has to continue. So this conversation has to be had, and we can do that on Clubhouse. So I'm excited about that conversation.
Okay, so Marlena.
Yeah, so I think so many women can relate to motherhood and the difficulties that come with it. And I think that's what makes this conversation so powerful. Again, no matter what your background looks like or what your skin tone looks like, as mothers, we can wrap around this concept. And I know for me, when I think about, and I mentioned this in the chat, when I think about like a Serena Williams, how she literally almost died with as much money and as much status as she has. And I can't think of anyone healthier, honestly, because I drink probably way too much wine to even put myself on the same stage as Serena Williams. But for her to almost die because her doctors did not believe her and did not take into account her history of blood clots, for her white husband to have to advocate for her, it speaks so deeply to me around race, around stereotypes, around how much work that we have to do. So just personally, as we talk about becoming more diverse and inclusive in schools, in our home spaces, in our communities, this has to be part of that conversation. This has to be a part of it. I am so glad she had him. I am so glad she had him. Or we wouldn't have her. We would have lost another great woman, another great athlete, another great Black mother, just because of not being believed. So this is incredibly important to me, and it should be important to every single person that is a human being in the country.
Wow. There's some great stories to be shared. So this is what I'm going to say. I have so many questions I want to ask. There are so many topics that we could throw at Dr. Cassandra. What I want to remind everyone is you can also go follow me on Instagram or just go to my link tree. I have free invites. Marlena has free invites to Clubhouse, especially if you're an Android user and if you didn't know you could get on. And the same thing with Dr. Blasey. I want to say before I let Dr. Cassandra wrap us up today, she is one of the finalists for Clubhouse Creator First. So we are asking for your support. We're not asking for a donation, although we probably could have done that. We are not asking for a donation. We are asking for you to actually go and follow Dr. Cassandra on Clubhouse today. We're asking you to go down to the bottom of her bio and click on the club. So you make sure that you are notified on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, because she is going to be talking. Her Creator First program is Be Well Sis, the Black mental health crisis and its impact on mental health. So please make sure that you follow her on Clubhouse. So Dr. Cassandra, wrap us up today.
Yes. So thank you for having me. Thank you all who are joined in, who had comments and questions. Please join in on the conversation over at Clubhouse. I also have some invites. So please find me. I'm on Instagram. I am at @BeWellSis_podcast. I also have some invites if you would like to join in. I'm happy to share with you. The conversation is going to be rich and it's going to be interactive. So it just won't be me just talking and the panelists just talking. We want to hear from you too. I think there's power in all of our stories. All of our stories matter, and I want to see you there.
Well, cool. So thank you so much, everyone. You have a great day. Please take a moment and share this post. And please, please, please take a moment and follow um, Dr. Cassandra. I'm looking for the post for this Thursday, May 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.